Making their way through the forest, James kept an eye out for any tracks from a deer or animal. The forest was getting darker as night approached, making it harder for them to see. They didn't use any lights, knowing that it would increase the likelihood that a monster would be able to see where they were. Though a monster was still likely to be able to smell them, a light was too obvious of a giveaway with their position. This meant that even if it became dark, they'd need to adjust to the ambient light until they returned to the group. It was safer for them to use any lights with their large group, but not when it was just the four of them while hunting for their dinner. We need to hurry up and locate something, James thought to himself. He didn't say it out loud, knowing that it would be unhelpful and only add pressure to their situation. He glanced at Celine, wondering if she had spotted anything. Though he was tempted, he remained silent. There, Celine pointed, a stone toss away from them. James looked at where Celine pointed, but he didn't see anything. Knowing that there must have been something there, he was more patient. It was then that his eyes widened upon noticing what Celine had pointed at. There were marks on one of the trees where a deer had used it to sharpen its antlers. When they reached the tree, they stopped. Celine quickly looked at the ground to try and spot any tracks. It was important for them to know how long ago the deer had passed where they were standing. If it was too long of a time, it would mean that the deer wouldn't be anywhere near their position. Even if the tracks led to a deer, it would be too great of a distance for them to safely travel. Currently, their biggest advantage was the fact that all four of them were wearing relatively lighter gear and fought while leveraging their agility. This meant that they could quickly run away if they were to spot a monster that they were unable to fight against. James knew that when he and Maya had fought against the forest cats, it was out of desperation, not a situation they should have put themselves in with the risks involved. The two of them taking on so many wasn't something they usually would have done. They'd have relied on the teamwork of their group to take on so many monsters at once. Though, even if we were with them, I don't think it would have been smart to engage so many monsters at once. James thought back to the fight, knowing it was foolish. Celine was busy looking at the ground, moving leaves and fallen dead branches out of the way. Watching the elf, James was a little curious about how Celine developed the skills that she had. He looked down at the ground, trying to see if he could spot anything. Unfortunately, all he could see was dirt, leaves, and branches. Found it, Celine said in a cheerful voice. She looked at the rest of them and grinned. It even looks like the deer was here recently. Learning that the animal had recently passed the location, James felt an excitement grow inside of him. They'd now be starting to hunt and track down the animal that would eventually feed them for the night. Not wanting the deer to get away from them, they sped off into the darkening forest.